Where do I start? As a Chiefs fan, yesterday might have been the roughest day since the Colts playoff game in 2015. And that in itself was, yesterday was a tough pill to swallow. I can't, it's impossible for me to even listen to any sports shows, anybody really talking about the games yesterday. Just kind of how the shit went down and what happened with yesterday's game. And then, I kind of get on social media today. And I have to say, I mean, for me to, how can I put this correctly? Those of you who make excuses blaming the refs or saying it's a fucking conspiracy and that the games are rigged, you motherfuckers blow my mind. Like there's nothing worse than after our team loses and we don't have anything else to blame it on other than that we lost the game. We lost the game. At the end of the day, we choked. Not even really like using that word. It's just the Bengals stepped up when they were supposed to. Even though we choked there at the end, there was so much shit that happened that could just change the outcome of the game. But I'm not having this. I mean, I will argue with people. Don't get me wrong. I'm here for the stupid shit. I will argue with people all damn day that the NFL is not rigged, people. I don't know what the fuck, y'all. Y'all go watch too many damn YouTube videos and you go down that damn rabbit hole. You've probably watched how the earth is flat. And I've watched those videos too, because I'm like, let me see this shit. You watch them long enough, fucking they'll convince you the earth is flat too. But I just hate this whiny loser mentality that, hey, this ref missed a call or this happened, and that's why we lost the game. What about the execution on certain plays that didn't happen why we lost the game? What about Patrick Mahomes not throwing the ball at the end of the first half out of the end zone, but instead he dumps it off to Tyreek Hill? We don't get any points out of that. Why is that not talked about? And which I know there is. There's some people in their right stable mind who actually can say that, hey, we lost the game, we choked, we stopped running the ball in the second half when we were so effective in the first half. Mahomes tried to do too much. The defense was kind of just I don't know. The defense didn't play that bad yesterday. To hold that quarterback to 27 points in overtime. Yes, there were certain spots in the game that obviously we didn't do well, but you can't continuously set the defense up in that situation when Patrick Mahomes threw that interception to the D lineman and you gave them a short field right after they done scored. I mean, there's only so much a dam can do till the water uh, just bust over when there's that many holes in it. So, but what we have to do is get out of this loser mentality that the reason that we lost is because of the refs or how we should stop watching these games because it's rigged and it's like watching WWE or anything else like that. Man, I'm so tired of this conversation because this conversation doesn't fucking happen when we win. We need to have these same conversations that happen when we win. But because shit doesn't go to our way, these conversations tend to pop up only when we lose. We were in the AFC Championship. Yes, it fucking hurts. It hurts. But the first thing you do is make a fucking excuse. The reason why we lost the game is the refs. Man, I'm so tired of these fucking conversations. And it's just not from the Chiefs fan base. It's from every fucking fan base across the NFL. It's a loser's mentality. And man, I just like the fact that like so people are so strong in this belief that they believe, hey, this is why we lost the game. The refs are out to get us, or the fucking NFL is rigged. They want Cincinnati to be in the Super Bowl. Why the fuck would they want Cincinnati to be in the Super Bowl? Why would they want Kansas City to be in the Super Bowl? Why is Chicago so shitty? Why is the New York Giants and the New York Jets so shitty? You're not going to have those big markets like that are offering millions of more dollars than what these smaller markets can possibly do so. And have them literally be some of the worst fucking teams in the NFL. So you can talk to me about execution of what happened. You can talk to me that Patrick Mahomes choked, and he did. And I hate to say that because there's not another quarterback in the NFL that I would rather have over Patrick Mahomes. But we choked. That's it. At the end of the day, we choked. We was up 18 points and we choked. That second half, and the thing is, too, is we've seen that type of play out of Patrick Mahomes this year. Sonny Money Mail says, was our expectations too high for Pat? Yes. Yes, it was. And I mean, it definitely, man, when you come out and it's a first year starter and a guy is slinging the ball and throwing 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in 16 games, man, we're thinking that, like, I had this conversation with so many people after that first year. They're like, oh, I think he can get 60. I was like, man, I could see him never reaching 50 again. And I have other podcasts that I can pull up the audio up on that some other time, saying the chances of him hitting 50 again is unlikely. Like, it's just not really going to happen, man. It's just like, so it's just what we're expecting out of. Sorry, having a little technical difficulties there. So, yes. Uh, right, right. Mayo once again saying he's only human. We've seen Brady shit the bed also. We're on to Cincinnati. And that's it. I mean, that's it. You can't expect this guy to be what he was, A, in the first half, and B, what he was all of the game last week. So, Brutal says we lost because of poor clock management and bad choices by Mahomes. I'm not sure about the poor clock management. I mean, typically that is kind of a Reed's forte, is not having great uh, clock management, but I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say the number one thing, even though like obviously the things with Mahomes, one of the bigger things that I would say that if affected the way that the Chiefs played in the second half offensively, we stopped running the ball. Mahomes was more effective when McKinnon was getting the touches that we needed him to get. And maybe it's because, I grew up, fell in love with the NFL and the Chiefs in the 90s. So, like, running the ball is so important. I think the most important thing is having a great quarterback, but I think that you have to run the ball. Uh Renee, I feel like we relied on the big play too much, that the run was working. Yeah, man, that's kind of what I'm getting at. And I think that a lot of people kind of carry that sentiment that we stopped running the ball. Like, that's where that opened up everything. That we actually got to throw the damn ball over the top to McCole Hardman. But why was that available? That was available because we was running the ball. We was running the ball. So it's frustrating, man. It's super frustrating. I get it. I get it. I get it. I was heartbroken. I said I'll never let the Chiefs break my heart after we lost to Indianapolis. But here I am, heartbroken. Now I got a kid old enough too who's getting heartbroken, and I got to console him, knowing damn well I want to fucking cry. Yeah, it's just fucking. You can't. The momentum changed. Big Mo, man, if you that thing can work for you for a period of time, and if you don't get that pendulum to swing back the other way, and it's only on one team, it's only playing for one team, it's going to get that team's victory. So, and then you had to give it to Burrow too. Burrow said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna let my nuts hang. I'm not scared of this moment at all." And that dude's a beast. You have to give it to him. Give it to Cincinnati, man. Stop saying it's the refs. Stop saying this shit's rigged. Give it to Joe Burrow. Give it to Cincinnati. They got pressure on our quarterback. We didn't get pressure on the quarterback, and when we did, we couldn't get him down. Burrow was a beast in the second half. Unfortunately, you'd rather the guy be a beast in the second half in the first half, so it makes us fall short. I don't know. I get it's frustrating. I haven't been this. Uh, Renee says I see mock drafts for us taking wide receiver, cornerback, or outside linebacker. Man, just to hop into the kind of the next season real quick. Um, D line, man. I don't think Frank Clark's going to be here next year, and um, we get no pressure on the quarterback. I think we do okay. I mean, maybe something, maybe. I mean, I think Willie Gay is going to be a beast. I know he's kind of an inside backer. Bolton, I think he's a bit of beast, but kind of way that we play, we tend to be a nickel a lot. So kind of having that um, second outside linebacker is I don't think it's as important. So um, let's see. Says what about that third? Says what about that third down play? Jones had Burrow in a bear hug and let him go. Yeah, that's exactly it, man. And that shit happened twice on that route or that drive. We're just gonna get him down, man. That's where you got to give it to fucking You got to give it to you got to give it up to Joey Burrow. You have to give it up to Burrow. I mean, like Sonny says, been elite since he started at LSU. Elite. That boy, shit. Uh, Renee, you got to chill on that brilliant speaks. We don't need another a guy like that coming out of the draft on the line. But that's definitely I think that's where we need help at, man. I mean, other than bringing out Ingram back. I think he still got enough in the tank that we can bring him back for another year. Man, like shit is up. Like that game was heartbreaking. That game was heartbreaking. And then and then we'll get. I mean, shit. There's a lot of shit's probably gonna be related to what I've seen on social media today. Just because mostly some of you motherfuckers just annoy the shit out of me. And Mayo, you might be on this one because you was on this early in the season, talking about firing. I seen one saying like, "Oh, maybe it's time to move on from Andy Reid," and that just fucking blew my mind. But I'm also one of those guys. After people say shit, I check their profile out, and I'm like, "Oh, I could see why this motherfucker says shit like this." So, uh, but talking about getting rid of the coordinators. Like, do you guys think that's what we should do? Is get rid of the coordinators? Mayo, I know you was on that train early in the season, and we kind of turned it around. I mean, I will say, Our D coordinator did not set us up in the best spots to win to stop goal line defense. I would tell you that. I I can't even think of the D coordinator's name right now. These motherfuckers have got me so worked up today. Spagnolo. I don't think the thing is oh, you get a D coordinator that's going to think everything else. Yeah, appreciate it, Corey. Fucking, it was running through my head. So I I knew you was going to mail says I think if we keep Spags, it'll be nothing but bad news. Who are you getting, man? That's the question. Who are you getting? Are you what are you switching the defense to? Are you going back to 3-4? Are we switching that 4-3? Is it really the scheme? Not, maybe it's not the scheme. Now, if you want to talk to me that maybe you want to get rid of him because he has certain players and packages that don't need to be out there. You got they go Chase, they throw it to Chase 2 plays in a row with the fade. And then you have Sorensen on that side, on the inside of the corner where Fenton's at. There's no safety help. You can talk me into that. If that's your argument why you want to get rid of Spags is you got the wrong players in there. You got Sorensen. So Sorensen, that 2-point conversion. I said it. As soon as that slot receiver shifted over. And at that point, now they're thinking fucking fade. Nah, they run roughly the same route and dude shoots under. Sorensen's nowhere near him. He's constantly making bad decisions on where the fuck he thinks the ball's going. That's literally most of Sorensen's fault or problem. He makes bad decisions on where he thinks the ball is going to go. Every time. Corey, you're right. It's always fucking Sorensen. Always. Fuck. Oh, I can't believe this. I can't believe, honestly, man, I had the idea when we had 1 minute left and we're at the goal line. I'm like, oh, we're about to score a touchdown. We're about to get the ball in the second half. We're going to be up 35-10. So do we place Chris Jones underperforming on himself or coaching? You probably put it on the general manager. Other than Ingram, who's helping Sorensen? Who's a pass rushing threat? Who? We have to dial up blitzes to get any pressure. And yesterday we we didn't blitz a lot, but we were like one of the worst teams getting sacks. And honestly, you can't have your D tackle as the guy who's getting the sack numbers. Let's be honest, Chris Jones is not Aaron Donald. There's Aaron Donald, the elite. I think Chris Jones is right here. Probably the second best defense tackle in the league. So it's just what was around him. He didn't have much help. And honestly, we haven't had a good pass rush. Shit, I can't even remember when. Like when other than Jones, when he had double digits in sacks. But before him, who's been that other guy that's been a threat? I don't know. All right. So all right. See, I appreciate you, Mayo. No fucking way it's on the gym. We had hopes for Reed and Clark this season. The whole line underperformed. I placed it more on Spags and as the players themselves. Did we have hope for Clark? Did we? I know I haven't. I haven't been on Clark since we've got him. He's literally had a 6-game stretch, which was fantastic because it helped us win the Super Bowl. He had a 6-game stretch to help us win the Super Bowl. Other than that, he's not been good. He's not been good. And the idea with Reed was that what did we bring him in for? So Jones can go to the outside. So at the end of the day, I on me, I was cool with that. I was not against that move. I thought that he was a pass rusher and shit. It's still not wrong. He has no help. So like, and the thing with Reed was you had Reed and Clark together in Seattle, and that was Clark's best year. That was, at this point, it looks like an anomaly. Maybe that's because the players who were around Clark helped him get one on one. Jones to the outside was terrible. No, I agree, man. I agree. That's I won't die on that hill. But at the beginning of the year, I was for it. I was definitely for it. So, but he's not built to be a pass rusher from the outside. I think he's a beast from the inside, man. He could be quick on the inside, but on the outside, he's just too slow. There's nothing that he's going to. Yeah, that was an absolute fail. So, and then that's where I will give the Chiefs credit. They didn't just like let's fucking die on this hill, keep them to the outside. So, it's what are you gonna do? What are we gonna do? Now we have the off season to look forward. I think we have almost 30 players who are going to be free agents. So this team's going to be completely different this year, I believe, than it was, or next year than it was this year. Oh man, I don't know. That's all I can really come out of that game saying. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Man, man. So it comes to the question now is like, okay, so you can't tell me any different else back. It's time for him to go. New blood and new voices, new energy in that defensive room. Maybe, man. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm not usually big on one to constantly get rid of the coaches first. So, but maybe you're right, man. Maybe a guy who refuses to play the younger players, refuses not to fucking bench Daniel Sorensen, refuses not to bench Neiman. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I won't die on that hill either. Maybe you're right. But as much as you can blame or not like Spags, I don't put that on Spags. Not this game. If you want to talk to about an overall season performance, we were 27th, 28th overall defensively in the league. That's why you want to get rid of them. But if this is the game that you decide, oh, this is why I want to get rid of him because this is the game, I won't. I can't get with that. I can't get with that at all. Not running the ball fucked us up. We come out in the second half and we throw the ball 3 times. We had been running down their throat all through the first half. And what do? First 2 drives. We don't run it at all. Since he hasn't been in Brutal says, since he hasn't been in the playoffs in 10 years, let's see if they can stay atop. They haven't drafted outside top 10 in 10 years. Man, I think when it comes to like teams being take those out. Teams being successful, a lot of times it comes down to the quarterback. Obviously, unless you're the Detroit Lions, because Matthew Stafford's going to the Super Bowl and they never done shit with them. So it's a lot of it's going to be what you can do around him. But, Detroit's always had top 10 picks and Stafford's been good this year. I mean, it kind of shows you it wasn't a Stafford thing. It was a Detroit thing. I mean, it's just what do you know though? But yeah, I think since he's going to be here for a while, man, Burrow's the real fucking he's the real deal. Let's not under let's not discount him. Let's not like he is the real deal. That's why since he got there. Burrow didn't blink. He didn't blink. You seen it in his face the whole time. It's just that we didn't step on their throats when we needed to. There was no point that that should have even been a close game. I didn't think it was going to be a close game going into it. So it's what it is. Next time you'll see the Chiefs is in the Pro Bowl. That's not the game that anybody gives a fuck about. Oh, yeah, good. Are you rolling into the confidence with Hill, Hardman, Pringle at wide receiver again? So Pringle is a unrestricted free agent. Hardman still on his rookie deal, and you're absolutely still rolling with Hill. You're still rolling with Hill. The offense is that much better with Hill than it is without. Like there's a huge decline in my opinion when Hill's not on the field or has that ability. He's the scariest player on our offense, not named Patrick Mahomes when Patrick Mahomes isn't trying to be Superman. And you know, that's kind of the unfortunate thing too, is that he can be Superman at times. And it's unbelievable. I mean, so sometimes when you are Superman, it can be a detriment to you later on. Look in the first half when he was rolling around in the pocket, the shit worked. Second half, fourth quarter, he did it 2 plays in a row. We go from the 5 to kicking a 47-yard field goal. So, I mean, Hardman deserves a spot on this team, but I think you definitely you need a number 2 receiver. I like Pringle on the team. He's not a number 2. I was advocating for him to be our number 2 this year. I still think he was the best wide receiver. Now I'm not counting Kelsey in this because you know just purely wide receiver position. Um, I think he was our second best wide receiver, but I still don't think that's good enough. You need a guy who can give you that Sammy Watkins production, that 700, 800 potential yards a year. Uh, Pringle, unfortunately, wasn't that. I think is a solid player, as a good number 3. Hardman, spot player, gadget player, but I don't ever think he's going to ever go to that next level. I mean, not all wide receivers are they can develop after a couple years. Antonio Brown, if first one that comes to mind, he sat behind Hines Ward and all those guys in the early years. But a lot of times you can see it with these guys, with these young wide receivers. Usually when they come out, they got the juice. They got the juice, and he's going to be a solid player. Can we not? Can we not put Hardman? Like, I don't want Hardman as our punt returner. May, are you confident rolling in with Darrell, CEH, and McKinnon? Absolutely. I'm still big on CEH. I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He just can't stay healthy. And what you don't do is ever get. I mean, and I love Andy. I love Andy Reid. I would never say, obviously there's things that I wish he'd do different, but I love Andy Reid. One of my biggest problems though is that we never run the ball. Like we don't like we should have a minimum of 25 rushes a game. How do we not run the ball ever? I just don't get this. So it's just, yeah, I think those players. I'm not Darrell Williams, a solid player, but I don't think he's a starting NFL running back. McKinnon, he was definitely a starting NFL running back at one time, and then he showed those glimpses again, and he showed it in the first half this game. We just get away from him. We have to run the damn ball. Is it just me, or did McKinnon run harder than Clyde Edwards-Helaire? It seemed like that, didn't it? It seems like when McKinnon's out there, he's out there to hit somebody just like these linebackers are out to hit a running back. He's initiating contact just as much as the defense is. It seems like that. But I don't know. But if you go into the year and you're asking me who's the starting running back next year, if we got the both of them on our roster next year, I'm taking Clyde. And then, we'll see where we're at. Take the hot hand. I appreciate Andy letting McKinnon start this year. And then, or maybe you let McKinnon get the starts because he was a hot hand at the end of the year. He's a free agent after this year. What he did, does somebody give him a little bit bump up in contract and he has the opportunity somewhere else? Because more than likely, McKinnon's going to, or Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's a first round draft pick. It's harder for teams to come off those first rounders and not give them the opportunities, especially Clyde was hurt this year, man. He was hurt the first year. I don't know. We have a lot going into next year. No, I agree. McKinnon should be starting with that number one spot at very least. So it's, what do you do? What do you do? Other than leave here frustrated after a game we should have never fucking lost. But here we are. It was a game that Cincinnati won. I was so frustrated, I couldn't even tell you what happened in the NFC game. All I seen was the box score. I'll go back and rewatch it eventually so I can have an opinion on what's going to happen in the Super Bowl. But everybody who's going to the Super Bowl's going to suck. No, it's not. Joey Burrow is entertainment. The Los Angeles Rams are entertainment. Aaron Donald is entertainment. Matthew Stafford is entertainment. Jalen Ramsey. Jamar Chase. So don't tell me the Super Bowl is going to suck. It's going to be entertainment. So let's not just shit on the other team because we lost. We lost, so be it. Accept the L, keep it moving. That's what winners do. Yeah, Andy will always Andy always be stubborn, not run the fucking rock, and kudos because he has a top 3 QB, but too much of an unbalanced offense. Man, you're right, man. This shit ain't Madden. This shit is not Madden. You need to be balanced. The best teams that win Super Bowls can consistently look at. And I know a lot of people hate it. Brady, the GOAT. You know what he had? Balance. He had balance. They may never have the best running back in the league, but they were consistent on they were going to run the ball. At this point, my question is would you rather have a better defense and less offensive weapons and Pat be the great quarterback he is and kind of, somewhat manage the games? I don't know. Because let's look at it. That's what New England did. They had the availability to manage games because they focused on their defense, and that's what it was. And they ran the fucking ball. Andy, I love you. Can I get 25 rushing attempts minimum? Minimum? Yeah, I know you're big on this. You know what, Mayo, I might be in that camp with you about maybe it's time for fresh voices. Maybe you're right. So, and I don't think Bieniemy is really a possibility. Offense was still good this year, so I think that's more of an Andy Reid thing. But you can talk me into Spagnuolo getting fired. That won't hurt me. That won't hurt me at all. So, fuck, man. Sports will hurt your soul. Sports will hurt your soul. I'll tell you that. Especially when you're invested into it. So, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of this game. The highest highs are nice, but the lowest lows suck. But it is what it is. It's sports. It's competition. It's what makes sports beautiful. That's why I love sports. That's why I love competition. as much as this sucks, like this is, this is what makes competition beautiful. This is what makes the NFL beautiful. Oh, okay. So I heard this. This is a great question, Sonny. Did Pat hurt his legacy yesterday? I think I seen Lance Twidwell from the Spoken talk about this, and I think he was the one that said it hurt it. Man, for me right now, yes, but honestly, that's to be determined. We're too early in his career. I mean, how many more years does Pat have left? If he has another 10-year career, but he only wins one Super Bowl, and this is kind of it. Will this particular game hurt his legacy? No, not at all. I mean, this it's you're gonna have these years. I mean, Brady's had I think he's been in 14 championship games as far as conference championship games. He's lost four of them. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I don't think that I this, it might be too early to be talking about legacy with a player like this. He's 4 years starting quarterback. He's starting his legacy. That's to be determined. We don't know if this hurt Pat's legacy or not. If he goes on to win three Super Bowls, nah, this won't hurt his legacy at all. People won't even talk about this game. Then it comes up to what did Burrow do? Burrow comes up and be a great quarterback, or Josh Allen. It all depends on what those guys do. What everybody else does, you know, Peyton was did Brady hurt Peyton's legacy? Yeah, for sure, because Brady was winning all of them. So between all of these guys, it all depends on kind of what happens with all these other quarterbacks around the league to determine like what's Pat's legacy. It's still too early for that. Yeah, see, I disagree, man. Not too early with all the records he's broken. It was one season, and it was an amazing season. And I know it's the whole he's the first to do this in so many games. He's the first to do that in so many games. That only works when you're a younger player. I think it hurt Andy's legacy more than anything. That I agree with. That. To what you start having is Andy will start getting into that conversation of possibly being the second greatest coach of all time. He was working into that era of that threshold. So yeah, that I can get with. If it's going to hurt anyone's legacy, it's going to be Andy's, not Pat's. Pat's too young. He's too early in the game. His legacy is not in concrete yet. We don't know what Pat's going to do. That I'm telling you, that 50-yard touchdown season, it's skewed. What the fuck? What our expectations are for this quarterback? Let's not forget that 50 touchdown season. We had Kareem Hunt for half of it. We don't have that type of running back on our team. I mean, and if you think about it, the year before that, that's one of the few times that Andy actually ran the ball when Alex Smith was a starter. I think only way that you're going to get that is if you have that type of player. If you have a Brian Westbrook, maybe Andy don't believe in any of these running backs like that. Either he doesn't believe in any of these running backs like that, or he's so mesmerized with Pat. And can you blame him? We all got mesmerized with Pat. As a quarterback, I've never seen anybody, him and Aaron Rodgers, never seen a better guy throw the ball. So I don't know. It's a tough one. But I appreciate all you guys checking in. Appreciate the comments, keeping this rolling. I mean, we'll see what next season brings and see what happens. Hold on, we'll see. Do you entertain letting 30? No, fuck. Hell no. No. Kelsey's still a beast. Yeah. You can't add. No. Kelsey's still putting up numbers. Kelsey's still a beast. No. In my opinion, best tight end in the league. I know a lot of people like, oh, well, Kittle's the better blocker, and Gronkowski when he's on top of the game. Kelsey's the best at doing his job. Kittle and Kelsey's different. Kelsey's the best at doing his job, in my opinion. I don't and the fact that people say, Kittle's such a good block. Kelsey's not a bad blocker. So, we definitely ain't, we got to keep Kelsey. People go ape shit if we lose Kelsey. So, but on that, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm about to log off here and call it a night. Thanks for letting me vent. Go Chiefs.